G'day guys, my name's Josh, you can call me JaWoodle, and welcome back to 7 Days in the brand new gold version, full release, update 1.0. We've had the new update for a little while now, and I have started to notice some things that seem like they might be pretty handy for some base building. So, welcome back to JaWoodle Park 1.0. Where it's time to start playing with some zombies. It always makes me happy coming back here. We've got our killing corridor over there, like the AFK zombie dropper horde base, where you can just sit in the bunker and not lift a finger for an entire horde. The melee only horde base, though, to be honest with you, it still makes me giggle at how bloody tall that thing is. Definitely wasn't how I envisioned it when I set out. But today, I wanted to come back and try some things, because some of the things that we've learned from these horde bases and other gameplay mechanics I've noticed as well, I reckon they can make some pretty fun bases. So I want to pick out a spot, over here looks nice and lovely, and start building something a bit more old school. I'm actually really excited to see how this is going to work in update 1, because this kind of goes back to like Alpha 17, when they first brought out the smart zombies that would pathfind and find their way through bases through the weakest point. That was when they first became like exploitable and controllable, and I remember building things like big, like convoluted pathways, trying to control the zombies as best as possible. So I want to see if we can do that in this update as well. So I'm going to build a cheeky little tower just for me to stand in, and then a nice big path for the zombies to follow. But I think if we do that, oh, actually, I hadn't really intended on doing it. I've immediately had a new idea. That's different what I set out to do. But I reckon if we implement something like the zombie dropper that's on the killing corridor over there, if we implement that plus the drop mechanic that we learned from the melee base as well, we can remake something pretty OP. Not especially cheesy, I would say. I mean, I know, whatever, cheese bases are cheese bases. The zombies are cheesy with their supersonic sledgehammer hands and their rocket boots to jump over obstacles, so whatever. But I reckon we can make something pretty fun that could really, really have a good time with. What do you reckon, Als? You're a little early, come back later. So I've made this platform 7 blocks high. It's kind of just like the bog stock standard. I usually go about 7 blocks. That removes any chance of any accidental zombies finding their way to me and trying to beat through this pillar. It's high up enough that I have to find a way that I build them. And in the past, I've just gone like a big spiral. That's what I was kind of thinking, like a big spiral all the way around this. So you'd have like a main avenue through there. You've got a couple of blocks out, and then to start going all the way around the outside, like a couple of trailer park girls through to them. Yes, I know you're going to collapse, but it's fine. I'll chuck on some supports, and I'm still going to use elements of that. But I think if I implement something a little bit different where I need to, another support can go here, then I can make it so that even after zombies run this whole route, they're still going to have to be reset and go back to the start again to kind of like just overpower them, really remove their chances of getting to you and causing problems, which means actually you need, oh, that was one too many, you need to go. Yeah, I can make this work. This should be easy. I'm actually going to need a little bit more space. So I'll break you, and break you, just to remove all that I just built. I'll clean up the rubble in a second. But I was thinking with something like this, I mean, it's hard for me to imagine, but let's just assume you're not like me and you do have friends. If you were playing with friends, you could have one looking out of each side of this little bunker here. So I'm going to extend you that little bit. So if you do have 4 people in here, you're not all just rubbing shoulders and causing friction all the way around like that. So you have one looking south, one looking east, north, and west. Because if I'm going to have like zombies moving all around the base entirely, you can all have avenues of fire, firing through electric fences or whatever, but you've all got like your own little quadrants to look after. And I think that'd be a really cool thing to have. I assume. Again, not speaking from experience here. This is some like real classic JaWoodle Park stuff. Experimenting and building and seeing how the zombies think from way back in the day. So that has been measured out to be, well, I've gone like 13. I think it is. 13 is about there, I think. I think the actual number is 11, but I always like to have like a factor of safety in there, a little margin for error, just in case, you know, it's never going to work perfectly all the time. Kind of like when we built that melee base with the ladders, like sometimes weird things happen and I just want to remove any chance of that entirely. Because if I'm going to go AFK, I'm going to make a cup of coffee and come back. I don't want one random zombie to have broken a support and now everything's gone tits up. We're going to go all the way out to here, and this is where I think the pathing is going to start. And what I'm thinking for this, I mean, do you guys remember, like, Snake on the old, like, Nokia 3310s, like the old mobile phones, just the Snake game, trying to fill every pixel of the screen with your Snake? That's kind of what I'm envisioning for this, but when I have this main runway at the end, that's kind of like the final hurrah. That's where they're all going to come to. I'm just going to build the path around the outside for them first. It's taking a good while to build, not completely unreasonable. I'm trying to build it like as efficiently as I can and not, like, you could just make it completely solid concrete if you wanted to, and I am building it out of concrete. I do see people comment on some of the other base build videos I've done talking about like, oh, that only works because you're building out of concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, yeah, building out of concrete or doing this or doing that, or because, like, you know, you're using cheats or god mode or whatever. This is still just a normal survival world. There's nothing different here. I've just turned on debug mode. That's the reason I can fly, basically. And just to make building a little bit easier, but there's nothing I'm doing here that wouldn't happen in a regular game. And I only really use concrete because it's just nice and easy to do. I can build bigger spans. As long as you're controlling the zombies right and building it properly, you shouldn't have any issues. So if you control the zombies nicely and properly, you can build so much more efficiently. Like, I could build all of this out of wood if I wanted to, because as long as they're pathing right, they'll never try and destroy these pylons, but they're never going to attack random shit like that and break stuff. Unless you built it bad. I realize that saying that means I put an awful lot of pressure on myself to make sure that I have built this properly. If I get to the end of this and things aren't working properly and I'm left scratching my head about why things aren't working, that's because I built it bad. Do as I say, not as I do. I might think I understand things, but unfortunately, I am still a galah. So I've got this big outer ring done, like the longest part of the pathing is sorted. It's gonna take a lot more building to fill it all up, but there is a hard limit on how far the zombies can path, which I think is about a kilometer. I think it's like it's about 1,000 blocks, might be like 1,256, just how computers are programmed. I think it's like just around about 1,000 meters, so I'm not gonna come super close to that here, I don't think, but I still want to be aware of it. So I might actually just quickly give you a little bit of a test run. Actually, this is going to work out well, because I should have the access for the zombies over on this side, because this is where I want to put a dropper in here, so when they get through all of this pathing, they get dropped a good distance away from where I'm going to be standing, at least 13 blocks away, because when they fall, they won't try and destroy stuff, they'll just go back to path in the way I need them to, so building their little access stairs just next to them, that's just being polite. The apocalypse might have happened doesn't mean you can be an asshole to people, or in this case zombies. Take that, trade erect. So put you like that should be fine. I'm just gonna leave for now. I'm gonna chuck in those blocks. I'm gonna go and grab a paintbrush so I can mark his up to get destroyed later on. All of that, so that's where the dropper's gonna be, and that should... We'll give it a go. That should get the zombies pathing the way I need them to. I'm going to spawn them in on the opposite side from where I'm standing, so they have to run past me to get to the pathing that I want for them. Just some regular Arlenes, get their attention and see how they go. I should bypass. They got stuck. They got stuck on each other. I was going to say, they should bypass. Jeez, I was almost eating some very humble pie there for a second. There you go. Alright, they just tripped over themselves. They should bypass that pillar and go to the stairs and run all the way around. I'll do a couple more tests to make sure that that was what I think it was, but boy, for a second there, after all my shit talking about, oh, just build the base properly, I thought I hadn't built it properly. But no, we're fine. We're fine. Look how far they'll run to get to me. They're all good. That was not a nice moment. Not a nice moment. But as they get all the way around... You can imagine, like, with extra paths and stuff, I might actually get pretty close to a kilometer. That's where they would drop. Instead, I'll just drop them with a shotgun. Where did the other ones go? The other ones, oh. So you've already fallen off. How did you fall off over there, you great galah? How did that happen to you? I'm not sure. Oh, now you got pissed off because you were too close when you fell. Damn it. All right, hang on. How did you possibly fall off a thick path like you? What is wrong with you guys? I actually think part of the reason that some of them were getting a little bit stroppy about falling off the side is because I've built this little fringe around the outside of this pillar. It's not 13 blocks in every direction. I'll double measure at some point to make doubly sure. But I think because I was standing too close to the side, I was within that margin. Even, I think, as I said, I think the magic number is 11. All right, great. So this time when I'm actually watching, you all just made the path completely perfectly. Love that. But yeah, the magic number is 11. I built a 13 to avoid me making mistakes like that and causing issues. And turns out I did manage to do that this time. Can I get another coupler, please? That's a whole bunch of coupler. There you go. Come on. Yeah, stop beating on each other. Make your way. There you go. Up onto the steps. So as long as the zombies don't get in their own way, usually it's pretty straightforward. Oh, there we go. So they just decided to up and jump off the side. But because I was sitting in the middle of my platform this time, they run back around to the fronts. They don't like this. I mean, I haven't built the proper stairs on yet. That was just kind of like a rough and ready example. You made it through. Most of them are making it through. Yeah, they're all pretty fine. Okay, so we need to fix these stairs. We know that. But they're still doing the whole path around the outside without too many issues. They are just slipping off the edges occasionally, which I don't love, but I don't think I can really build anything to stop them doing that. I guess maybe the zombieism caught up to their brains at some point and they lost some of their coordination. It's about bloody time. It's a great example actually, where in like the other builds, I've kind of glossed over it and it's like, hey, trust me on this, build pyramid stairs like what's on here. That time I didn't do it, and that's exactly what happens when you don't have pyramid stairs. Zombies just get caught up on it, they start doing weird things, they start breaking stuff. And just having some proper stairs on there with those pyramid stairs at the bottom solves a lot of that issue. All right, we're good. So now we've got like the outer rung done, we can start building the next piece of the puzzle, which is just everything else. So I've started building the next rung in, and only one block apart from the outer like path as well, which is a very jumpable gap, and zombies can jump over gaps, but they only jump over gaps when they can land basically on top of you. It's like kind of like an attack jump rather than a pathing jump. So if I can probably even just show you, if I could chuck in a solid path all the way down here, all the way across to my little tower in the middle, and then I break you. If I break you, I mean, pretty clearly, there's a gap here they can jump to get across me quicker. There's a jump there they can jump across to get to me quicker, but they won't do it. They'll only jump when they actually attack you. Oh, for goodness sake, stop spawning them on top of your own bloody face, please. You, out there, please. Arlene's. Okay. Get them running, get them going, come over here, would you please? So like, regular zombies and spider zombies alike will only attack jump. They won't just do a jump because they can do better pathing if they do that, which, I don't know, it's predictable at the very least, but it's not really, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Doesn't matter why, it just matters if. So they should, if they get to this part here, they'll ignore that and run straight past. Even though you and I could just jump across there and take a shortcut, they won't do that. Same here, won't do that again. They will only take the proper path all the way through. So even though it's only a one block gap, totally jumpable, totally easy, they'll ignore it and just go around like that. Easy peasy, bloody squeezy. I've done a full loop back to the start again. I actually quite like the distance between you. What are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do the same on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's the gap. That's where the pylon's going to be. We'll go to there. So then at least I have the same distances on both sides, because symmetricality is the most important part of any base build. Doesn't matter if it's survivable or not, it's symmetricality that matters. So we'll go to them. So at the moment, well, they go up there, all the way around, do a U-turn, back around that way again. So another U-turn here. I want to leave a nice little open channel where like the actual access route is, so everything's nice and clean. If they do get to that part before they get killed by you and all your imaginary friends, if you're me, before they reach here, you've got plenty of time to realize that, but leave a nice little avenue right in the middle here, kind of like ancient Athens, but have all like the path around the outside. I should be fine. I can't imagine that going wrong, but I've been wrong before. I think every time I go around like another loop, I'm gonna quickly do a little test to make sure that I haven't gone too far. I'm sure, you know, someone who's good at math could probably figure out exactly how far this pathing is. I've got no idea. I know I've used less than 1,000 blocks so far, and there's actually a lot of blocks been used up in like the supports underneath, which all look bloody good down there actually. So I'm not concerned that I've gone too far just yet, but I just want to make doubly sure that this is going to work the way I need it to. It can't even get the zombies to spawn right to start with. Get off. And you get off too. All right, yeah, well, a couple of them fell down, so at least they can run the test for me. So really, as long as they run to there immediately, I know that they're going to go the right way. They're not going to get halfway around this thing and decide that, you know what, yeah, nah. But even so, I'll just sit up here nice and happily and watch the show. Look how long it's going to take them to get to me as well. So much, oh, all right, that one fell off, but so much ample opportunity for them to get shot or zapped or sliced or whatever. Bags of time, bags of bloody time. It took a while, but those first three have finally made it through the entire maze. You can have a hit. I was gonna say, I feel like it's rude to have you run that entire way and not at least give you a little taste of the reward that you were working for all that time. You, unfortunately, are not gonna get the same treatment. See you later. Okay, so that's all working well and good. There's something so satisfying about that too. Just watch them run the course the whole way round. It's like, it's just satisfying. It's satisfying in a way that only 7 days can be. But satisfaction aside, gotta keep on building. So I said someone who's good at math might be able to figure it out. I am clearly not that, but I gave it a whirl. I don't even know if this formula is correct, but I tried to figure it out. So the length by width of this, it's 37 blocks by 38 blocks. You do area for that, so length times width. I know it's exciting, isn't it? Getting spoken math arithmetic to you. But length times width, so 37 times 38 is 1,406. I've divided that by 2, which gives me 703, purely because... So like, I mean, half the blocks up here aren't gonna actually be path. I'm ignoring like this avenue here where there aren't gonna be blocks. I work with the absolute maximum. So even if I did use every or second block effectively in this area as pathing, that would only be 700 blocks of pathing. So that should be fine. I know, I know what you were thinking. When you tuned in today, you saw a JaWoodle video pop up with a cool base thumbnail or something, and you're like, oh, Josh has gone back to JaWoodle Park and made something fun. I know you were sitting there quietly hoping, pining, yearning for me to sit there and explain a math equation to you. So, you know what? You're welcome. You are welcome for making your math dreams come true. That's what everybody loves in their zombie survival game. Mathematics. And mathematics that probably isn't even correct. Someone correct me on that, please. I've made another 2 full loops again. I'm getting pretty close to the point where I think... how's this gonna look when I come back around the other side then? I'm gonna go back to, like, here. And that's gonna go back the other way again. And then just for argument's sake, I'm gonna attach you to them. So the next rung, is going to be what? This close. This close. Because here's the thing. I don't want to get too close to the bunker in the middle. Like what I was talking about where they won't take shortcuts. If you build too close to your bunker in the center, they will start trying to make that jump across, which I want to try and avoid as much as I can. So I reckon I got one more in me. I reckon I got one more loopy-doopy in me. I'm gonna just use the blocks I've already put down. Even though it's creative, doesn't mean we get to be wasteful with these things. That's all looking pretty good through there. You're gonna need some supports for this one. And in fact, on that one there as well. It's fine. It's fine. We're just making ourselves a pattern. It's like crocheting, but in the apocalypse. And look at that. In the blink of an eye, if a blink of an eye took just over an hour, there you go. That is some exceedingly long pathfinding, but I am all for it. Just gonna quickly attach you so that we have that whole path all working. See if I can get some Arlenes out here to run the pathing for me. They spawned on my head again, but this time I was ready for it. All right, come on, please. In fact, you know what? You know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do? Just to really see what we're dealing with here. I'm gonna get a timer going. I'm gonna get a timer to see how long this is actually gonna take zombies to run this thing. Where's the timer? I'm gonna do it on my phone. I know editing Josh could probably do it a little bit better, but he might actually do it anyway. But just so I, in the present, know exactly what we're dealing with. All right, I'm gonna start this the moment that they touch the bottom of the steps. So please start running. There you go, and start. All right, I just want to see how long this goes for, because that is, I mean, they're pathing properly, so no issues there, but that's quite the hike. We're almost getting to the end here. One fell off and bumped its head, but also need to keep firing my shotgun to keep them focused on, where I wanted them to go. That's the finish line, but more importantly, Did you see that? Did you see that? They got to here and they were like, you know what? We've run too far. They got all the way through the marathon before they decided to start doing something a little bit iffy. That took a scratch over 2 minutes by my stopwatch. It's probably wrong, but that's what I've got. So 2 minutes to run this. I wonder how big you could make it. Like, there is definitely a limit to how far the zombies will path. At some point they go, you know what, that's beyond our pathing calculations, which I think was like 1,200 blocks, so 1,200 meters. I think it was somewhere around there. I can't remember, but there's definitely a hard limit in there somewhere. But I mean, look how long this is. If you can't kill a couple of zombies in 2 minutes, there's other problems that isn't your base building. I'm just running a couple of zombies through here again just to see what happened with, what are you doing? What happened with that pathing? Oh. Oh, there you go. She made the jump across. So like what I was talking about, where they'll only do that jump attack when they can actually attack you. That's how far they can jump. They can jump, well, how far is that? What? 4 meters or 3 meters? They can make a 3 and a bit meter jump if it actually gets them to attack. So that last rung in the middle might have been a bridge a little bit too far. I just wanted to see why they were doing weird things like that, and then I tested that with the final piece of the puzzle broken. But now I want to know. That's actually a pretty good thing for me to give a go at then. From over here, let's get another 5 up. For goodness sake me. Get another 5 Arlenes on the hop. There we go. Got my Arlenes in place. Fire the gun, get their attention, and get them on the hoof. So you guys gotta like get to this point and decide, nah, you're all fine. You're all, except for you apparently. Got a little bit slippery footed, but you're all good. Okay, so I reckon that's pretty good to rock and roll. I'm gonna get rid of these ones along here, and I think that is where I'll build like the final pass. We'll go up like this, that last little connecting piece. I'll put in the supports in a second. That's gonna come all the way out to the top out here. Boop and boop. In fact, I don't even need any extra supports, but I'll put them in anyway just for good practice. And then I'm gonna have the zombie dropper just here. So when I get all the way through, 2 minutes of sprinting all the way through to the end, they're gonna fall down back where they started to start all over again. Which is just like, I'm basically just playing God at this point, and I love it. And look at that. Look at that. Just like that, we have a ridiculous, it's basically a maze base from Alpha 17, but on a whole other level. A ridiculous snake base for them to work their way through. I've just got like, it's just a simple zombie dropper down here. The upside down wedge tips with the heart blocks on top. I've added a little bit of extra panache, little pizzazz, little sprinkler fuck yeah on the top with the wedgies. If you want to know how that works and how to build that, you have to go and watch the Killing Corridor video where there's a whole in-depth explanation, but it's basically just that. It's a couple of blocks placed perfectly, breaks the zombie AI completely. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to quickly go, copy shape and rotation, and continue up to the top just to make it look that little bit nicer. Beautiful, beautiful. So now all I need to do is build a bunker to stop those jumps, and I reckon we're pretty schmick. I'm going to use the scaffolding ladders for bars, as I always do at this point. It's just so far beyond the pale that these blocks are the best. Even though they're not actually bars, they're the best bars in the game, purely because they block the cop vomit. So, like regular bars, regular penetratable blocks, it's definitely not the word, will let cop vomit through, so that's always a problem. But aside from an absolutely spot on shot from a cop, there is a little gap right in the dead center that will let cop vomit through, but for the most part, it blocks almost all. It's kind of like those hand sanitizer ads, you know, like 99.9% of germs get killed by hand sanitizer, 99.9% of cough vomit gets blocked by scaffolding ladders. So use them for the bars on your base, a nice little cage in the middle, so that you and all your friends can fire straight through at all the running zombies and pick them off before they even get close to the zombie dropper at the end. It's like a cheese base, but with like a sprinkler cheese. Just kind of like that little sprinkler parmesan on your pasta dish. I have no idea how these are going to work for blocking that cop vomit like the ladders do, but I wanted something just to go into the corners that would still give you line of sight for all of your firing. And I've got this, what are you even called? Double pole top, wait, pole double, top double, the double. I've got that and just chucked it on its side to try and get it to fill that gap, and it does quite nicely. No idea how that's going to go against cop vomit, but it's fine. It's fine. It's good enough for the job I want it to do, so I'm chucking it in. Sight unseen, untested. Not that I think we'll need them, but just good practice is to have the zombie bonker up above your last line of defense. Do the same thing as we normally do and grab a 0.05 pillar, that one, and just chuck you. Oh, geez, I'm moving way too quickly. Chuck you in like that, and then all we need now is just some more scaffolding ladders on the front, and we're done. We have the bunker, we have the pathing, we have everything you could possibly need. I mean, except for talent, but that's a me issue, not a you issue. Get rid of you, chuck you in. Can you just copy the rotation, please? Yeah, like that. There you go. And look at that. I mean, I've got to build a way in, which I'll build probably somewhere around here. I'm not sure, but some spikes on the roof, some ladders up there too to shoot through, and we're pretty good. We're pretty good, actually. Nice and safe, and so much time. I've put in the spikes to take care of vultures. Everything's looking pretty good, but just because I wanted to add a little bit extra to this, just to make, like, you know, just in case all the zombies do make it through, or at least some zombies make it through and get into the zombie dropper here, I've just built a bucket and put on a couple of doors. So if they do get to them, you can sit up here, you can grab yourself a couple of grenades, and if there's a couple of them just down in the box, you can just go like this, get a grenade up, and chuck them in. And in fact, if there's a couple of them down there, we could go right back. We could go, it's like Alpha 18, I think it was. I can't remember when it might have been, but get a whole bunch of Arlenes. If you could all just kind of kindly join all your friends in the bottom of the bucket, please, and we can turn this into a rudimentary zombie cannon, just like the good old days. Chuck in a whole bunch of grenades. Hold that for me, love, would you please? Chuck that in, and send them to the moon. Off you go, love. They got caught up a little bit, but it's fine. Look at that. Look at the puddle. The buckets of zombie limbs I made for myself. Daisy chaining explosives and a giant pathing base. What could be better? What could be more iconic? All I want to do now is just quickly trigger a horde and see how it's going to go. Shouldn't be any issues with like zombie dogs or bears or anything because it's running ladders. Sorry, it's running stairs, not ladders. As the drop comes in, that's fine, but they're going up the pyramid stairs nice and easily. And all the way through. But look at that. See, that's why you use the scaffold ladders to deal with the cop vomit. No dramas then. So the cops will just keep on vomiting at me all the way through. And obviously, as I was saying before, if the zombies drop, like fall off this path somewhere closer to me, I'm not going to be that 13 blocks away. You could build this whole contraption 13 blocks or higher up into the air to completely negate that, like as tall as that one is, but that would be up to you. Look at them go. They're all clustered up. They're all running happily. Just got my own little zombie farm. It's fine. No issues, in fact. And look at that. Those poles caught the zombie vomit as well, so they're even better than I thought they were going to be. Just all the zombies in the world out here. So you could sit in with like an M60 or whatever. I'll just grab you for the moment. I don't have a lot of ammo for you, but this will do for now. And just pepper them. There's a nice little cluster all the way through. You can't really see through the cop vomit, but I promise you they're out there. And because they're zigzagging and interlocking all the way through, and because, you know, you'd be taking one side each and looking out them, you could deal with some really like top level hordes with this. As long as you had the ammo, I suppose, and the spike. But look, even with all this faffing around, the closest ones still aren't even getting any closer to me. They're barely even halfway through. I've put in some torches to make visibility a little bit better. They're all kind of grouping down into little bunches. But here comes the first big bunch. The first big bunch to go down into the hole. Down they go, easy as you like. They'll be trapped down there for, well, forever basically, until I decide to remove them from the world. Quickly grab a grenade, chuck one in first. Good shot, just like that, and a cheeky little follow-up. I mean, you could just let them just run forever and then just throw grenades when you're ready to. Whenever you feel like the bucket's nice and full, if I did this again, I'd probably get rid of that closest rung. That seems to be where they start having a couple of little issues, just because they're confused why they can't get to me. But so if I got rid of that most inner rung and just went up to the zombie chopper from like there, I suppose, that'd work even better again. That's fine. That's fine. You know what? Sometimes it's good to show you what not to do rather than just explain it. But look at this. Look how good this is. They're just all over the place, running around like a bunch of headless chooks, not able to get to me, can't do anything. They are just victims of my will and my base build. But I'm gonna have to leave this base build here. I love these things. I love just coming in and just experimenting with what we can do in the game and sharing it with you guys, not so much as like a flat out tutorial. I've been doing a couple of those, but it's not really the idea of this. This is just like inspiration. Here's what you could build if you wanted to, and turns out it absolutely works. So I'll have to come back and continue to build things in this world in another episode, because this episode is done. So thank you guys for watching. Most of all, thank you to the patrons of Patreon who made this episode possible. If you liked, make sure you hit the like button down below and subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Twitter. If I don't talk to you there first, I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.